What's going on, everybody? JBM Designs back with another video, and in this one I'll be printing on some shirts using 3 different printing methods, that is screen printing, heat transfer vinyl, and super color. Stick around to find out how this turns out. Alright, so I've already printed this job for a customer already. They're actually returning for 12 more. And this is the screen that I used to print the back of the shirts. I just never, I did not take the screen off the press yet. So I don't need to make any adjustments to the screen. The only thing I need to do is adjust my pallets. So for this print, the top of it needs to be 4.5 inches down from my collar. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get this first pallet, loosen it up on the bottom. And I have a mark here where I put the top of my collar, and the shirts that I'm using, the collar is a 1-inch collar. So I need to actually, from that line, come down about 5.5 inches. That gives me the space for the collar, and then it comes down 4.5 inches on the shirt. I'm gonna slide this pallet out, bring the screen down, and see where the end of this ruler touches the screen. All right. All right, so now I'm 4.5 inches down on the shirt. I'm going to go ahead and tighten this up. Next thing I need to do is measure with a ruler the back of this platen to the back of this stop that's on the screen once I put it all the way down. Once I get that measurement, I had a shorter ruler, I can do that to the rest of the pallet. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick and I'll be right back. All right, so now that I have my pallets adjusted, I have glue on them that's already pretty much being reactivated. So what I need to do now is I need to take some of the black ink from these other screens. And I'm going to try to not use any more ink other than what's already on these screens, which should be more than enough. All right. I can put this back, being very careful that the ink does not drip. So I'm gonna grab a test shirt, which is just an old shirt that I have. Print on the back of it just to get that black ink moving, cover up my stencil, and also measure down the collar to make sure I have the right distance. And on my press, I have this knob that's underneath that you saw when I was adjusting my pallet. It gets in the way when it comes to loading the pallets, whereas it takes all the time, but it's just something to get used to. So I'm gonna grab as much ink as I can from the sides. And this is black ink, so black ink goes a lot further than white ink. All right, so place that down. And I just did a pull stroke on that. This Y did not print at all. There it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and flash that because I don't want none of this ink to start looking nasty. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push this instead of pulling it. All right, so that was a few seconds under the flash. Touch it. Make sure no ink's coming off. None is. Therefore, I'm not going to push any ink through the screen on this second one. And like I said, I'm going to flood it and push. Part of this Y is not coming out. I don't know what's going on with it. I'll tell you what's going on. This part of the screen is higher than this side, so I need to make that adjustment. But at least that cleared out the Y. And as far as the rest of the print, everything looks good. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually I'm gonna cure this with my flash. And I'm gonna do all of my shirts that way. Actually, I'm gonna cure them with the flash instead of the heat press. And in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and adjust this screen so that this corner is not higher than this corner. And that is why you do a test print. All right, so now that I got my screen adjusted, everything else adjusted, my test print came out good, I can start loading up these shirts. And I already looked over my shirts to make sure everything is correct. Now, one thing about these shirts, as soon as they come from the supplier, and in this case I use SS Activewear, they already have a line that goes down the center of the shirt on the front and on the back. That's going to help me when it comes to lining up this shirt. I don't have to do much work. I can just look at the lines that I've already drew on my palette to find my center. What I'm fighting right now is not even the glue. I'm fighting this huge knob that's on the bottom of my palette that I gotta, you know, feed the shirt around. All right, so looking at that line, I am centered. And I'm gonna go with that. Go ahead and get a preheat, move on to the next shirt. You want to do this, you know, as fast as you can, because with my flash, as long as you have something under it, it's being heated. So you don't want your shirts just sitting up under that flash. You will burn them. All right, double check my stuff, and I can kind of see my line through the shirt. And I have a 4-color 4-station press, but I don't use this platen because it's broken. So I've never used it. I just use the 3, which is just fine. All right, so now I have everything warm. And get the lint. And that's it. Let me get this exclamation mark. Not putting any more ink over the stencil. Just clearing out what's already on there. That's perfect. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and take it off and cure it while I'm printing my next shirt. I already have my flash cure set for a certain amount of time. Check my print. This exclamation mark is just not clearing. the way I would like it to. All right, now that's good. Take this off. Move on to the next one. You got to be careful because this ink is wet. You don't want the shirt to fall on top of itself. Check it out, check it out, check it out. Everything looking sharp. I'm just gonna hit it again just because. And I just realized that I only did the lint roller on one of these shirts. Already ready to move. And while that's curing, I can go ahead and start pulling these off. And I don't know if I said it, but I'm only doing 12 shirts for a customer that I previously printed for. Last time I did 40 shirts for her, and this is actually for a church. They gave me the design, and I'm gonna explain why I'm printing 3 different methods. Actually, I'll explain that now. The reason why I'm printing 3 different methods is because they're getting a sleeve print, back print, and a left chest print. For the left chest print, it's like a full color image that was better with, I don't know if I started this. Left chest image that was better with super color rather than me trying to screen print it and line up all those colors. Of course, the back is one solid color, and then the left chest, not left chest, the arm, she was looking at her design, and I'm going to show you the design in a second. So here's the customer's design. I'm trying to get this to focus on the camera. It has different shades of gold in it, and when the customer was showing this to me, she was like, I want this part of the gold to be on the sleeve. Well, I'm like, you know, that's kind of hard to match certain, you know, shades of gold. So I kind of made the option easy for her. Okay, all these are done. I'm looking at it like I'm putting stuff all over the shirt. They're all cured. But I told the lady, I said, look, I'm gonna do vinyl for the sleeves because she didn't want to pay for the additional screens. So you got to factor in all the options, see what's going to be the best option for your customer, and if the cost is a problem, then you got to either turn the customer away or figure out a solution. My solution was to do some super color transfers, heat transfer vinyl for the sleeve, and screen print the back. So it worked out. I still got the customer, and the customer's returning for more sales. So I guess at the end of the day, as long as you seal the deal, you're good to go. Seal the deal without losing money, I would say that. There's always ways to make more money, but work with what you got. All right, so now that I'm done screen printing the back of the shirts, I'm gonna go ahead and get them on the heat press so I can start doing my super color transfers. And I'm gonna start with the super color transfer because it takes a higher temperature to transfer this image than it does using the heat transfer vinyl that I'm gonna use, which is B-Flex Gimme 5, which presses at 285 for 4 seconds. So, because that's lower temp, I'm gonna start with this. Unfortunately, I gotta take my time to dial it in, make sure my image will be straight. But that is okay. Don't rush the process. And this shirt doesn't even feel like it's straight. There we go. I mean, I can still see the center line, but I don't really want to trust that right now. Straighten this shirt out, because it's messing me up trying to find my center. And I'm not trying to give them no crooked printed shirts. All right. All right, so I'd say we're good right there. Get my design. And I'm really just going to eyeball this, to be honest with you. Not spending too much time. What I do need to do is find the center of the design going this way. I'm going to put a light crease on it like that. And what I want the center of this design, I want it to come down about 5 inches from the bottom of this seam. Come down 5 inches. That's where the center of this left chest goes. And then you want the edge of the collar to be the center of your design. That's the way I do it. It looks bright on shirts after I press it. So, but I mean, to each their own. If it doesn't look right to you, then switch it up. Now, instead of looking at this edge of the seam for every shirt, I'm going to look to see where I fall on this ruler. And then I'm just going to do every shirt that way instead of spending too much time on it, because they're all going to be about the same area when you press it. So I'm happy with that. You do not need your cover sheet when you press super color. I just have a habit of using it. And for this print, I'm going to stick to my habit and get my cover sheet. My pressure is way too light. Make sure nothing moves. Still too light. So you want medium to firm pressure. When you're pressing super color, probably more on the heavier side. Yeah, that's heavy right there. And I'm pressing this 320 for 15 seconds. I hope that's what it's supposed to be, because they don't print the instructions on the bags anymore. And what I was used to doing was, if I was unsure, I would just take a quick look at the bag, make sure I was doing the right thing. It is a hot peel though. So there's that one. If I can get this in frame good enough. There's the left chest. I got the back. Set this aside until it's time to print the sleeve. Alright, so this is the last shirt that I had to do the left chest on. So now that I have that done, I have to adjust my temperature down to 285 for 4 seconds. I do it at 5 seconds for B-Flex Gimme 5 vinyl. I already have each one of the sheets of vinyl already cut out. I use the Cameo 4 to cut out all of these. And basically what they are, they're just butterflies. But while I'm waiting on the temperature to drop down, I'm going to go ahead and grab my scissors and use this time to go ahead and just start cutting them out individually. And when I press this on, I'm just going to eyeball it with the center of the butterfly and the center of the sleeve. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. So this was the option that I went with as far as printing another color for the customer. instead of screen printing it, because like I said, the customer, she did, when I told her that, hey, this is a 2-color design, it's going to require additional screens for it, you know, she was like, all right, well, I could tell when the customer starts searching their options when it comes to price. So I felt like this would be an easier option without a lot of explaining on my part, and it's something that the customer could understand without, you know, you don't want to have to explain too much to your customers, because that'll kind of make you end up in a situation where you got to explain too much. Just give them enough information to where they just say, okay, and roll with it. So those are done. These are eyes that go inside of the butterfly. And my temperature is almost there. All right, one more sheet to do. And what I'm gonna do, so I don't spend too much time trying to press these on videos, I'm just gonna do one of each color so I can show you what each shirt turned out to look like. And you might say this takes too much time, but as long as you use the time, like I'm waiting on the heat press to cool down, so I'm using this time to do these, so it doesn't seem like it's taking a long time to do none of this stuff. I have about 10 more degrees to go. So I am going to use a pillow for this once I find it. Here it is. I'm going to use a pillow. The shirts already have that seam, so I'm going to use that seam to my advantage. Let me move these transfers and stuff out of the way that I do not need. And by the time I get set up, the temp will have dropped and I'll be ready to go. Alright, so this is a, what is the color of this shirt? Daisy. That is the color. I'm going to go ahead and get my pillow put in here. I am going to have to adjust my pressure. I already know. I'm not going to do it yet because the moment I press this, the moment I press this, the seam is going to come out. And I'm also not going to use a ruler or anything to line this up. I'm going to eyeball it to a good enough distance. So I'm going to get one of these butterflies. Alright, just like this. I'm going to eyeball about 1 inch up from the top of the seam on the cuff. Put it on there like that. For the first press, I am not going to use a cover sheet. But let me loosen up some of this pressure a little bit. Alright, here we go for the first press. And the pressure's too light. I already know. Tighten it up a little bit. Let me see if everything's peeling off though. Everything still peels. Now I'm going to grab the eyes. And line up my eyes so that everything perfectly falls in place. Alright, there we go. I'm going to slide this back. And I'm going to press this. Oh, almost got myself. Don't forget your cover sheet, because now you have vinyl that's exposed to the heat press. I'm going to press this just to tack it down. Peel up this vinyl. And I'm going to press it again because this square made an outline around the gold. So I'm just going to press it again for the full press to get rid of it after I give it a touch more pressure. That's perfect. Now I can pull this off, take the pillow out. Here's the butterfly on the sleeve. So I'm gonna do, I got 2 more color shirts to do, red and tan. All right, so here's all 3 shirts. See, you got the left chest print. All 3 of them, got the red, the daisy, and this is a tan color. Here's the gold butterfly. And the reason why I went with this vinyl is because she was just picking a gradient of gold out of this little border, reef, whatever it is. I said, all right, I'll be all day trying to figure out what kind of gold you want. So I picked one for her, and she is okay with that. So that was a red and yellow. I don't know if you saw the tan very well, and I hope these are showing up good on camera. Here's the tan. Here's that. And then on the back of these, four and a half inches down from the collar. This one, I measured it out to be 10.5 inches spacing. That's how the customer wanted it. This is exactly what the customer wanted, so I just gave the customer what they asked for. Red shirt and the tan shirt. So now I'm gonna knock out the other 9 shirts, printing the sleeves, and that'll be a job complete. All right, everybody, that was a 3 print design on this one shirt. That was screen printing, heat transfer vinyl on the sleeve, and also super color on the left chest. If you found any value in the video, if you found anything that helped you out, please hit the like button. Please subscribe for future videos. And as always, be yourself, be your best. I'm JBM. I'm out.